Well, we'll soon know. So they're all installed. Rough Pearl 3-to-1 shot, Special Vintage 4-to-1. And you can see there that Jeff Baxter just waving a few people away from the track. 8-to-1 Bucklow Hill, 9's bar. They're under orders and they're off. And Naorian leads in the very early stages from Bucklow Hill. Keelby Cavalier was a bit slowly away, and also towards the rear was Voyant. So at the end of the first furlong, it's Special Vintage now who takes it up from Naorian. Then comes Insular third, followed then by Dancing Admiral in fourth. Then behind these comes Afzal. The back marker at this stage is another Sam in company with Keelby Cavalier, His Honour, and also towards the rear early on Voyant. And at this stage, the favourite Rough Pearl in fifth place, lying handy as Jeff Lewis hoped that he would. It's Special Vintage who leads from Naorian second, Insular third, then Dancing Admiral 4, Rough Pearl 5, Bucklow Hill 6, and then Diabolical Liberty 7th. Behind these comes Afzal, then Crazy, and then Voyant. Behind Voyant, His Honour, then Central Line, another Sam, and Keelby Cavalier. No change amongst the leaders. Still Special Vintage who leads from Naorian in second. Then Insular, the Royal Runner, makes ground into third. Just in behind these, Rough Pearl, Dancing Admiral pulling quite hard in behind them. He can make the running if required. Another Sam is being scrubbed along at the rear. And it's Special Vintage who leads from Diabolical Liberty, who makes up ground on the outside of Insular. Behind these comes Naorian, and then Rough Pearl, then Dancing Admiral, Bucklow Hill, Crazy and Afzal and Central Line and His Honour. And they're really stretching down the far side as they come towards the halfway stage in the Tote-Ebor. It's Diabolical Liberty on the outside of Special Vintage, ahead of Insular in third, then Naorian fourth. And behind these comes Rough Pearl fifth, Dancing Admiral sixth, Bucklow Hill seventh, then Crazy is eighth on the outside of Afzal ninth, Central Line 10th, His Honour is 11th, and the back markers Keelby Cavalier, Voyant, and another Sam, the old stage, is beginning to trail in this very, very fast pace, which is being set by Steve Cawthon, who rides Special Vintage from Diabolical Liberty. So it's Moulton the lead from Epsom in second place, but the Royal Runner Insular makes ground, as too does Rough Pearl. Central Line coming very wide indeed. They're well in line for home, just over 3 to go. Insular, Special Vintage, Bucklow Hill finishing well. Then Rough Pearl, Crazy coming with a run. Central Line not done with 2.5 to go. On the very wide outside, Central Line disputes it with Bucklow Hill and Crazy. Then Special Vintage. Rough Pearl has it all to do. Just 2 to go. And it's Crazy who strikes and goes for home from Central Line and Bucklow Hill. Then Special Vintage and Keelby Cavalier finishing fast. But Crazy has the edge from Central Line in second place. Crazy by a couple of legs to Central Line and Bucklow Hill. Special Vintage and His Honour flying at the finish, but inside the final furlong, it's Crazy and Walter Swinburn driving for home. Central Line putting in a renewed challenge, but he's not going to get there. Crazy's going to win the Ebor at the line. Crazy is the winner in a photo from Central Line. Then Bucklow Hill and Special Vintage, nothing to choose between the Fitzgerald pair for third and fourth. Then came His Honour, Keelby Cavalier, Rough Pearl, a disappointing run. Naorian, another Sam, Insular, Voyant, Diabolical Liberty, a big disappointment. Dancing Admiral, and the back marker was Afzal. And so the result of this Tote-Ebor, it's a photo between number 8, Crazy, owned by Marshall Racing Limited, trained at Pulborough by Guy Harwood, ridden by Walter Swinburn. And poor old Lester Biggert would have ridden this had he not had that unfortunate accident at Yarmouth. Ridden by Walter Swinburn, Walter's 63rd winner of the season, and surprisingly and astonishingly, a first York Ebor meeting winner for Guy Harwood, if he's prevailed. It's close. Central Line, ridden by John Lowe, was closing in the final 50 yards. I think we'll find that third horse home was Bucklow Hill, and as Jimmy Fitzgerald, his trainer, suggested, there wasn't much between him and Special Vintage, because Special Vintage finished 4th.